not a KW approved statement. Oh, I'll just have to click it. It's probably just off of this. I think you just push play. Gotta go back one. Okay. And I moved it in my theme, but I probably should put it in the second one and go back to it. But
you guys, welcome to Ignite, Monday Morning Ignite.
Woohoo!
With Angie Fischer.
I was kind of sad. Everybody said there was going to be like 20 people.
Well, we have 5. Let's see. 1, 2. We have 4.
I don't even know where to wave to them.
Right there. We have 4 online. We've got this room of peeps right here.
And it's Monday, so
and
maybe
it's Monday.
People will be 5 minutes late.
So we've got a good crowd between video stream and it's not even called video stream. What's it called?
Live stream?
Zoom?
I don't know.
We're going back to the 90s for what's called a video stream. So okay, guys, I'm going to talk to you about Angie Fischer for just a minute. And Angie, you have to tell them your story.
I will.
As part of your bio and everything. Because
is that okay? We'll talk a lot about stuff.
Because I want to, I've heard her story like 5 times, and I want to keep hearing it like over and over because I love her story and how she.
Sticking around?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna stick around for that. Because she has an awesome story of how she got to where she is, and I love it. It's empowering and inspiring, and it gives us hope that we can all do this. So, and she's like super positive, super insightful, just always like upbeat, positive, and you know.
This way? I don't know. We'll go back to. We'll go there, and then we'll come back to it.
Okay.
So I'll give you guys a little bit of an idea.
And Angie has a team.
Yes.
And we'll have her talk about that. But and she's built a new home. Like it's just. But I love the village in story too. And that's like my main thing is that I just think it's awesome. So anyway, I'm gonna let her talk about that. But just know, like Angie is amazing. One of the top female agents with the team here is just awesome. So anyway, I'm gonna turn the time over to her, and just welcome to Ignite for Monday morning. So.
Yeah, and I'm hopefully gonna get a chance to get to know you guys a little bit better. But so you know who is teaching your class today, my name is Angie Fischer. I've been with KW. It'll be 6 years this month. So when I started in my past life, I worked at Village Inn. So I was there for about 15 years, and I was their training GM down at the one in Orem. And I loved what I did. I never intended to ever sell real estate. It was not what my plan was. My husband, we had bought and sold a couple of homes, and he would always say, you know, you should go get your real estate license to save us some money. I'd be like, I'm busy. I work 60 hours a week. You go get your real estate license to save us money. So one day he actually came home and he'd signed up for school. I thought, well, if you're going to do it, maybe I could. And so I signed up for school too, but not to do anything more than to take classes with him. You know, some couples, they like go to dance class or take pottery classes. And I was like, we can go to school together. And we went to live school together. That's kind of what we did. And I was pretty naive. I thought I was going to learn how to save money on my taxes. Like I was pretty savvy, and I thought, you know, I itemized and I did these things. That's what I thought I learned from real estate school. So we get done with school, and we're at a small little brokerage. I say we, but my husband was licensed, not me. And we were trying to buy investment properties. And so we were writing offers on investment properties, and we couldn't get anybody at the brokerage to help. Like you could barely even get somebody to look up and say hello to you or like make eye contact. So we enlisted somebody's help to try and write the offer, but of course we didn't fill out all the forms properly, and we didn't get the offer accepted. I'll just say that. We didn't get it. So my husband, you have to go to the state, like, Code of Ethics and new agent course with UCAR, right? So he went to those classes, and while he was in class, he called me on lunch break, and you got to know my husband. He's kind of a rough, tough power lineman kind of guy. And he calls me, he says, Angie, these agents here, they're like happy, they know each other, and they're making money. Like we should go talk to their brokerage. Sure, why not? So I plan to do local store marketing to KW. I had never even heard of KW. Didn't have a clue what it was. So I put together my pies, and I planned to just sell Keller Williams some pies. I thought, that would be great. Maybe I'll meet some people. So we come out, and at the time met with the team leader that was here. And he talked about Keller Williams. That's how I got to learn about Keller Williams. And that year, they were voted #2 in training across industries worldwide. And I was a training GM. I trained all the managers. And what I knew is I could teach anyone to pour coffee or flip eggs. I couldn't teach you to have passion or integrity or hustle or want to do any of those things. And if they were going to teach me, like, I bet I could do this. And I didn't have my license, but I took all the classes, and I thought, well, heck, I couldn't get anyone to even give me one of these binders at the other brokerage. Like, we couldn't get anything. So we went to dinner that night, and I just felt so strong that I was supposed to leave the restaurant. So I looked at my husband and said, I think I'm supposed to leave the restaurant. And he actually said, I think you are too. And he is a planner. So the minute he said that, I went to work the next day, and I told my boss. I gave my notice because I didn't want him to take it back. So I was like, I better go do this. So I gave my notice, and that was like June 20th. And I went and signed up to take my test. And then I started Ignite July 1st. My last day at the restaurant was July 20th. And so with that being said, we just had to jump in. And it honestly is one of the hardest things that we ever did, but was so powerful. And part of the reason, I guess I just want to share that with you, is that first 12 months, I worked as much as I worked at the restaurant. So I worked at the restaurant from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. 5 days a week. That was a good week for us. If it was a holiday or something else, we'd have more hours than that, but it was a solid 60 hours that you worked. I did the same thing that first year, and I made within $10 of what I made at the restaurant. Sure, like my guts just knew I needed to do that or my husband was going to kill me. Like, I had no idea, and we looked back, I was like, and at the time I thought it was really, really good money. I mean, I barely graduated high school, so I was super grateful to be at the restaurant and making $56,000 a year. I was like, this is good, this is a good time. So that first 12 months, that's about what we made. And then the first calendar year, 2015, we did 24 houses, and it's about $107,000. And each year, exponentially, it grew. So it grew from 107 to more like 225, to more like 350, to last year was about 650,000 in gross commission income. So that was the gross amount that came into the brokerage for us and our team. So super huge blessing. I can't even tell you how valuable real estate really is, though, because it really is the only place you can go with a high school education and make CEO wages. So you absolutely have to be grateful. Like, just be so grateful to be here. Now, with that said, I want you guys to take out your phones right now, and I want you to go 90 days. These two girls know what 90 days feels like. I want you to find out what 90 days is from the time you start. From when you started. Who's been here? Who's been in the business 90 days already? We won't talk too much, but we'll talk a little bit about it though. My 90 days was the last Tuesday in October 2014, and I will remember that day clear as punch. You two probably will remember your day 90. And the reason I say that, it's exactly 90 days, almost to the T. And you'll see somebody, you'll know exactly why it's day 90. So, keep my timer going, keep us on pace today. So, that Tuesday, I've been working like crazy. I was probably working more than 60 hours a week because you got to learn and you're doing all these things and you're somehow just hustling. I had closed one deal, but I was working on another deal and it was falling apart. And the other agent on the opposite side had called me and I just got reamed. And I deserved it. Like, I'd made a mistake and I didn't do something right. And I just thought, I can't do this. I am done. I picked my daughter up from school that Tuesday. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I came home and went up to bed and crawled in bed and was just done. Pulled the covers up over my head. I was like, God, you told me to come here. I don't understand. I don't want to play anymore. I'm out. This job's not for me. I better call my boss and get my job back because I can't do this. It's so stinking hard. I don't understand. And he's not very patient. He's like, after like maybe 5 minutes, like, are you quit feeling so stinking sorry for yourself and will you get out of bed and go downstairs and start calling people? And the reason I say that is every problem in this business can get solved from calling people every time. So I'm like, fine. I get out of bed and I go downstairs and I start calling people because that's what you're going to learn in Ignite that they teach you to do is you're supposed to call people. That's what you do. So I start calling people And not the people I call even answer, but something happens when you call people. The energy is put out there, and people start calling me. So a guy calls me that I had shown every stinky house to. I swear in Provo, because he's an investor, calls me and says, Angie, the smokehouse is getting a new roof. Can we put an offer on it? Like, sure. Okay, and another lady called, and she said, I just saw this condo on KSL. Can we go look at it? And forgive all of my timers. Okay, and so we go do that. And a lender I was working with called me and said, I have a qualified buyer. Would you like to show them houses? Well, sure. By the end of that week, we ended up with 5 under contract. And the reason I have you mark day 90 on your calendars is because on day 90, you are going to want to give up. It's going to freaking suck. And you have to keep going, because that's when the work pays you, is after day 90. And it doesn't matter. Anything I do today, the work I do today, I will be paid 90 days from now. So if I decide to take the month off, it's going to be 90 days before I get back on track. And day 90, probably day like 85 is when most of those real estate agents, you know, the 9 out of 10 that quit, they quit at day 85. So you have to like muscle your way through it and keep going, and it's going to suck. And when you're sitting like in the stairwell crying, I want you to hear me be like, it's day 90, get up, go call people, and it'll be okay. Deal? And you can come see me on day 90 and it'll be okay. It'll be all right. Okay. And I have awesome people. Oh, we get to see. Is Becca on? I see you, Becca. It's so fun. Becca is. That's so exciting. I wish others had their photos on it. So much more fun. Okay. Unless there's like kids screaming and all the crazy that happens. So fun. Okay. So that's a little bit about me. The reason that I love this teaching this class is last year we did 46 listings. About half of our business was listings last year, and in general, it's my passion. I love to protect sellers. I just think it's one of the most incredible things. So let's go. I think we might have to skip some of it because I gotta make sure we stay on track today. So I want to know, you guys, real quick, we're gonna do the CNN version, but I want to know your name, who brought you to KW, and one thing you want to learn from today. Woo woo! Awesome. Sounds good. That's awesome.
And yeah, just kind of like to see how you do the process.
Perfect. Yay. Awesome. That's awesome. I like it. And I'm going to have to practice. It's Abby and Tyler. Robert. Okay. Abby, Robert, and Tyler. Frampton, Rose, and Becca. Sheila, tell everybody who you are. Woohoo! That's awesome. I love Sheila. And you know what? The thing about First Colony is they really have the best rates. They have good culture. And so I have several loan officers that were at other companies that are now at First Colony. And it makes me happy. It makes me really happy. And you're closing one this week with Jess? Question mark? Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. We're getting there though. And yeah, we're working on one. The thing that I love about Sheila, this isn't a buyer's class, but let's just do a quick run through. A big part of the reason our offers are getting accepted is because we have great loan officers that are calling in and talking to that agent, letting them know how valuable our buyer is, how good, how qualified, whatever that looks like, which is a huge deal because I think you did that on Friday night, probably, maybe on a Saturday, maybe at 10 o'clock at night. So. Yes. So we try to copy the loan officer on the actual offer that's being entered, because then they have a copy of the contract as well. And so especially if we're on tight deadlines or anything else, but then they get notified right away that we wrote an offer, and then they can reach out to the listing agent right away. And so that it's easy. I mean, we'll talk about a little bit about multiple offers here, but like last week I had 8 offers, only one of them called me. I could barely get the other loan officers to call me back. So it's half of it is path of least resistance. If that loan officer is going to call me, they'll probably pick up the phone during the transaction. They'll probably be good to work with during the transaction. They'll probably not be a jerk. We won't get into another one I'm working on right now. Yeah, it's a little crazy. Okay, who you are, who brought you to KW, and one thing you want to learn. But if you only got to learn one, what would it be? Awesome. I like it. We're going to cover a lot of that stuff. Okay, first name? Joey, and who brought you to KW, and one thing you want to learn. Fantastic. And I think you're going to find that's going to be consistent for the most part. There's going to be some standards that are going to help you consistently across markets, whether we're working in Nephi, or whether we're working in Roy, or whether we're in Sugar House. There's going to be some good things we learned today. I love Lorraine. I didn't know that. What's one thing you want to learn today? Awesome. You'll probably even hear, if you guys went to Clay's listing class, you'll probably realize I stole a lot of my scripts from him. Keep going to his listing classes. They're fantastic. And you'll even hear the same thing as we go through a lot of the stuff. Sid, who brought you to KW? And what do you want to learn today? Oh, Heather's awesome. I worked with her a lot when I very first started. One thing you want to learn today? Awesome. I like it. Mm-hmm. I like it. Well, I need you guys to pay attention as we go through today, because I'm also, the gift that you're going to give to me and everybody in the classroom is some ahas, okay? So you're going to need to share what are some of those things that you've learned and big ahas. I am going to try to skip through. Oh, we did talk about this already. So you guys know about the 10-4, and you guys are tracking your numbers. You guys know what the 10-4 is? Okay, I'm going to give you my 30-second CNN version of to why the 10-4 matters. You can come and sit in classes, but do you remember what I told you solves all the problems in this business? Call people. If you don't call people, you're not going to make any money. And if you don't write thank you notes, you're not going to make any money. And if you don't go see houses, you're not going to make any money. So it's fantastic, and I'm so glad you guys are all here today. But freaking do the 10-4, you're not going to make any money. That's like the thing that is so important. It's the accountability of it. So I took Ignite when I very first started. My business didn't actually launch until I took Ignite for the second time. I started 1 year after I was in September of 2015. I took Ignite again. the classes were good, but what launched my business was the 10-4. I had to call 10 people, add them to my database, write the thank you notes, and go show homes. And I couldn't keep up with my business at that point. That it launches it if you are doing those activities. So oh, cool. And if you're an existing agent and doing Ignite a second time or a third time, like there's so much value in that structure. We all want to get into real estate for the freedom, but sometimes it's just really good to have, like, this is what I do every day. I get up and I do this. I mean, it's just like when I was at the restaurant. If I just let a host come in and do whatever they wanted, they were fine. They'd get work done. But when I gave them an effective checklist, they get so much work done. They get 3 or 4 times as much work done. And we're even happier because they were effective. Like, we like to be effective. We don't want to, like, be not effective. We'll call it that. Okay. So I also want your guys' permission today. So I created this slideshow because I took it out of here. So I know there's going to be people who want to follow along with the book. That's great. At the bottom, you'll see what page number it is. But I want your guys' permission to just go off script, go off the book. You guys can read this at home. 3 a.m. when no one's around or whatever it is. So I want your guys' permission that we aren't going to follow completely through the book. Is that going to be okay? I'd really like to be able to share specific stories and maybe go over scripts. Maybe have you be able to hear some of the things we might talk about with sellers, but I want to make sure everybody feels okay about that. We're going to go over the process, some staging, listings, setting expectations with the sellers, communication, servicing your listings, scripts to talk about with your sellers, and tools. Oh, tools for communication. If I would have known what a net sheet was when I started, my life would have been better. So hopefully we're going to get to cover that. I am trying to stay on track with my time because I like to tell stories. So we might get off track a little bit. Okay, first section though talks about, and our little thing down here might be covering our page numbers. I'm not positive, but you have a section in there on fiduciary. Let me see if I can tell you what page number it is. I want to say it's 12. No? Yeah, page 12. So page 12 talks about what your fiduciary duty is as a listing agent. So what do you guys think the fiduciary means? Yes. Did you read it from the book? No. Woo! That's fantastic. They're trusting you. So when we talk about fiduciary duty, let's talk about that. If you are their listing agent and you don't tell them their house smells like cat pee, are you acting as a fiduciary? If you tell them their house is worth more than it really is, so you can get their listing, are you acting as a fiduciary? If you let them overprice their house and don't tell them, if they don't want to sign in their yard and you don't tell them how important it is, are you acting as a fiduciary? If you don't talk to them about staging and having the house available to show, and maybe they only want to show on Thursdays from 2 to 4 p.m., which they may want to do, that's totally fine. But if you haven't talked to them, you're not acting as a fiduciary. Being a listing agent is totally different energy than being a buyer's agent, because you have to have really good open communication. You've got to have some of those tougher conversations, and if you're not, you're really not acting in their best interest. They're trusting you. You're the professional. You've got to be able to have those tough conversations. So I think that is just super important. That's just kind of like lays the groundwork as far as to how to have your listing sell. Most everything in this business, you will learn from making a mistake. And it really sucks to make a mistake. But hopefully I can share some of my mistakes with you so that you don't have to make the same problem, the same thing. In one of my first listings, they had one of those big dogs. Like big. It was a 700 square foot house. They had a big dog. And I didn't know how to talk to him about it. I didn't know how to be able to be like, You can't have that dog here. Like, that's an important piece. So I learned Clay's scripts are so good in his classes. So we're going to get through it, but just realize, so like for us, we have the 10 commandments on our team. Our second commandment is we always do the right thing because it pays well. So anytime we make decisions, we're not making it based on whether we're going to make any money or not. It's just right or wrong. And what happens is if you do what's right, money will just pour into your life. It is absolutely incredible what happens. So what 3 things do you think people want from a real estate agent? Yes. I'm going to call that as trust. Does that sound good? They, yes. I'll put it here. Keep naming things. Knowledge, I'm going to stick with trust because of honesty, integrity. I think speed on communication, because I think there are sometimes people are like 2 days later. Oh, we are, I think that meant we are already, let me tell you how, 25 minutes into the class. Whew. Okay. Okay, top 3 things is they want to be able to trust you. They want you to have market knowledge. And the third one is they want to have someone negotiate. Negotiate. I always have to spell it on their behalf. And forgive me if it's still wrong. We're into spell check these days. Negotiate. So the 3 things that they really want from you guys is they want somebody that they can trust. That's why if you and I both go on a listing appointment, you might get it over me, even though I've sold hundreds of homes, because they may know, like, and trust you already and may not know me. So don't discredit your ability to have people trust you. They want to just trust who it is. There's a lot of real estate agents out there. Maybe they have questionable trust issues. We'll just say that. Knowledge. The thing about knowledge is it's free. So everything you guys do to invest in your knowledge, you get to keep. No one takes it from you. So every class you sit in, every time you research the market, every time you go see a home, nobody takes that. The amount of time you spend on county records and learning how to use those websites on the MLS and being able to use those are investments into you. At the beginning, you're going to spend a lot of time in those spaces investing in yourself. Become knowledgeable. Market knowledge is actually probably the most important thing that you can do, and it's not hard. Set up hot sheets. You should know when a house hits the market, is it a good deal or a bad deal? If, let's ask some of the people who are on, if a condo across the way over here at the, we'll call them the villas, Villa Diesta or whatever, at the villas right over here, if it came on the market at $230, is that a good deal or a bad deal? Bad deal. How much do you think it should go for? Maybe. So 2 of them went on the market at $205 and went under contract the same day. I didn't do it. I just saw them come out. So I could tell you $205 is what they're going for. But you got to know, because what if your client sends you one at $230 and you don't know? Or what if they send you one at $199 and you don't know? You got to go right now and write an offer. But the thing is, that's easy. So go in, set up a ton of hot sheets. All my hot sheets come in at 4 a.m. So by the time I get up, I can just look really quick. Oh, that's a good question. What do they call them now? That's such an old term. I'm so sorry. Listing alert. A listing alert on the MLS. What that's going to be is that you put in your criteria of what you want to see, and they send it out to you. So I have a few different ones, like everything in Utah County. I have an email every morning that's sent to me that's all the new listings in Utah County. Sometimes I look through all of them. Right now I do, because there's very little coming out. Sometimes I don't. I think this morning there were 7 that came out on Utah County, or yesterday was more like, it was Saturday, was more like 30, or vice versa, 30 today and 7 yesterday. But that helps me understand, and I can see, and I just scroll through really quick to get an idea of what's out there, what's going on, and if there's anything that could be of interest to someone I know, I just forward it to them. Oh, this came out in your neighborhood. Oh, this looks like a good investment. Oh my gosh, look at this cute kitchen. Isn't it fun? that's my touches to people, is I send a lot of houses just for fun. So, and I want to know what's out there, but you should have one around your house, in your neighborhood. You should be the first person to know something's on the market in your neighborhood. You should, if you want to sell $500,000 houses, you should set up the listing alert for $500,000 houses so you know before anyone else and you get comfortable with it. But that's, again, knowledge. It doesn't cost you anything, and you get to keep it forever. So they want to trust you. They want you to be knowledgeable about the market, and they want you to be able to negotiate on their behalf. All those things, though, are all free, and you can do when you're a brand new agent. So don't get in the mind space that oh my gosh, I just started. Are they going to hire me? I'm not sure if they want to work with me. All that is just let that go. When I first started, I went and met with a bunch of mega agents, 4 or 5, and I asked them all, what's the one thing I should worry about? What's the one thing that's going to make me be successful? If you could just give me one piece of advice. They all said the same thing. Does anyone know what they are? What it is? No, but that's the right answer. But you can lead gen all day long, but if you don't feel good, you're wasting your time. It was actually affirmations. Affirmations was the #1 thing that all of the mega agents that made more than $100,000 a year said, if you don't get to do anything else, do affirmations. And I kind of felt really weird doing it. And I just was like, it's so awkward. I am a great real estate agent. I'm a great real estate agent. I'm a great real estate agent. And I started to write out what I really wanted to do. Everything my first year that I did my affirmations every morning and at the stoplight and everywhere else came true. I sell $5 million a year in real estate. And the first time I said it, I was like, I sell $5 million a year in real estate. And then after a little bit, it starts like, yeah, I sell $5 million a year in real estate. And then you're like, I better up my affirmation because I just hit $5 million a year in real estate. Last year, my affirmation was to sell $30 million in real estate. And we did it. I don't know how it happened. That's the craziest thing. So if nothing else that you take is get your affirmations in place. Simple things like, I close 2 deals a month. 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 Our bodies go to work on that, and they figure it out. Our bodies and our minds. I make $100,000 a year. I'm rookie of the year. Or I'm living a bright, full life of everything I'm trying, like all of these things. Just write it out, say it, put it. If you look in my car, I got my little Post-its up there. Do it. So out of everything, yes, study the market. But if you only get to do one thing, you have to study the market and do affirmations. You got to do the affirmations or you're not going to be in the right mindset to work on it. Okay, so we got to keep moving, you guys. Hopefully we're still doing it. All right. Okay, so if the market is hot and everything is selling, you guys are hearing that, right? If the market is hot and everything is selling, why is it that in first quarter, 3,400 homes were listed in Utah County and only 2,100 sold? So seller, so with your permission, I will go in and out of like third position or whatever you call it. We'll go in and out of a listing presentation. So seller, I'm sure you hear that the market is hot and everything is selling. But the reality is 50% of the homes in the first quarter actually didn't sell. Why do you think that is, seller? Possibly you're right. So the houses that sold are in good condition and priced right. So that's what's really important is we get one shot to go on the market and we got to make sure we do it right. So you're right. Maybe half of those homes weren't priced right. They smell like cat pee. Like who knows? So this is one of my favorite reports on the MLS that you can pull. Took me 30 seconds to update it. All it really shows is the black line is everything that sold. The green line is everything that listed. Okay? So there's a gap right here of homes that did it. So not all homes sell, so your job really is important. It's important, and don't downplay it. Don't downplay it for somebody who has a big blue billboard on I-15. What we do is important. Not all homes sell, not just because they put a sign in the yard does it sell. And my job is not only just to get your house to sell, but my job is to get more money in your pocket than anybody else. My job is to make sure that someone walks in the door and says, honey, get me this house because I know I will get them to pay more money than anyone else. So that's my job. What's also cool, it just talks about how price and inventory correlate. As inventory levels go down, prices go up. You can see our inventory levels going down here, and you can see the prices go up. Direct correlation to price and inventory, supply and demand. That just keeps going. So I'm super curious how the next quarter will come out. They haven't put those stats in yet. Inventory levels are pretty low, but there are still homes that are not selling. So our job is super important. So there's 3 factors that sell a house. It's going to be price, condition, and marketing. Who else is on there? It's so fun. There's other people there. Price, condition, and marketing. So seller, we'll do all the marketing for you. Okay. At the end of the day, like, should I just go into, I am just going to go into some of my spills. Is that cool? Okay. So, and actually maybe we will go, I'm going to wait until we get to another section here. No, we won't. Okay. So you're going to be in charge of the condition part. Now, as far as the marketing, that's totally my job. I will make sure that you're on all the major websites you'd expect. Things like Zillow and Trulia and HGTV. Did you know that Walmart even has a website that people search for houses? I'll make sure you're on that as well. I also have agreements with all the major brokerages, things like RE/MAX and Century 21. You're going to be listed on their websites as well. And then in addition to that, our team does a lot of local marketing. So you'll be on KSL, we'll do marketplace, indoor yard sale, and targeted Facebook ads. Sound good? My goal is to make sure everybody has seen your house so we can find the one person who's willing to pay more than anybody else. Now, if I go to the work to do all of that, we got to make sure it looks great. I'm going to have a professional photographer. We're going to make sure that it looks amazing. Now for you, let's get into the, keep going, 3Ds. Who is in place class? Yes, so there's 3Ds. So there's actually 3 things that we kind of focus on. These are the things that are free, and it's going to get you the most money out of your house, okay? So first one is going to be declutter. And I just look around and I say, you know what? The reason people like model homes is because nobody lives in them. There's no toothbrushes, there's no shoes and socks, no one lives there. So our goal is to help you with that as well. So honestly, we probably need to have about, maybe 50% of what's in here come out. You know, I know you guys have lived here 18 years and you just collect a bunch of stuff. I totally get it. This is going to be a great opportunity. And since you guys are moving, it'll give you a chance to get rid of a lot of the stuff you don't love. And just put it in your garage. Garages don't sell houses, so just pack everything up and put it out into the garage. You're going to want to have no more than probably, like, we have a rule of 3 things in each room. We're kind of shifting over into how we talk to them about staging. So like in your living room, that might be a couch, a chair, and a coffee table. In your bedroom, it might be a bed, a nightstand, and a dresser. So we kind of just remember that rule of 3, okay? You guys get 3 of things in there when we talk about decluttering. Now, anything smaller than a basketball, you want to box up. And I'll usually be able to tease, but sometimes I can't be like, you know, like Precious Moments figurines. If they have those, don't say that. But box those up. Anything smaller than a basketball is going to feel cluttery. Okay, you want big, chunky items that are left out. Anything smaller, and it helps them visualize. Oh, okay. So they start to think about how they can get rid of their stuff. And then deep clean. When we live in a house, it's totally different than the way we sell a house. So I want you to go through and clean the things you don't ever clean. We never clean underneath our stove. We never clean underneath our fridge, right? Like our blinds, our baseboards, anything that collects dust. What's interesting is that people won't even know why it feels good. I mean, you never ever notice a clean toilet, but do you notice a dirty one? The buyers won't know why they love your house and why it feels so good, but this is free. Get your kids to help you. They literally can do your baseboards. They can do your windowsills. They can do those things. But get the extra cleaning part done, and it's free. So, and then depersonalize. Oh, let's talk about depersonalizing. Give me some ideas of what you guys think depersonalizing might be. Family photos. You are right, because I'm going to make sure your house is everywhere. And I'm sure you do not want to have your kids' photos all over the internet, right? So do me a favor. You don't have to take them down, like, because some people have those cute collage walls. if you want, you're welcome to just flip them around and let it be white. I don't care. But a lot of times, instead of them having to patch holes and stuff, we'll just flip it around, let it be white. I also have people put sheet music in there, stock photos in there. Just print off a start every morning with a grateful heart, whatever. Print it off and put it into that picture frame, you'll be fine. And sometimes they have so much stuff. You know, like you go into grandma's house and this is the wall. Maybe don't flip all those around, take those down. But if they have like some tasteful, cute collage walls, that works really well. What else? So we talked about family photos. Keep going. This is going to be big. Religious. You guys took place class, huh? So true. Remember when I said you learn everything in this business from making a mistake? I didn't know how to have the conversation about that. And I can tell you that my house didn't sell because of it. After we relisted it, I took Clay's class, and in the spring we relisted the same house. And I didn't know how to talk about crosses. And I can tell you that made a difference. Temple pictures, pictures of Jesus. I usually tell people you can have like one picture, whatever it is, one cross. And it took me some time to actually just practice being able to talk about it. But at the end of the day, it's just really important. We just want somebody else to feel really comfortable there. And you can still be comfortable there, and I usually will tease. I'm like, you can have one picture of Jesus, just not 12. You guys pick where you want him to go. I don't care. But be mindful of that. And it could be any religion. But having that, like, we went back and it was interesting that we went and fixed some of the things on that listing that I didn't sell the first time. And it went under contract within like a day or two. That's how I knew. I was like, shame on me for not having the guts to be able to talk about it right with them. And in Utah, it's a little different. It's funny because I've taken buyers into houses, and at the end of the day, that was offensive to the buyers here. On vice versa, I have also had simple pictures and Jesus pictures be offensive. So we just have to depersonalize it. Okay, religion, what else? Sports. Sports memorabilia is huge. So if there is anything specific, and it's fun because as we walk through the house, I kind of say the same thing. Like, okay, you guys, we got to talk about depersonalizing. You wouldn't believe it, but this BYU wall actually might be offensive to some people, and they laugh. I'm like, I know, but honestly, I've had buyers walk into a house that had a big BYU thing in it, and they walk back out. We don't want to lose that buyer, so can you guys help me out with this? And so that might be the thing that I'll say is, well, you guys don't have to, but you did want to get the most money for your house, right? I just want to make sure you know if I didn't tell you, you might be upset. You can totally leave it if you want, but it might cost you 10 grand. You decide. So what else as far as depersonalized? Keep going. Awards, anything that reflects who they might be or what they might do, even if it's a golf award or a good doctor award, I don't know. Diplomas as well, things that have personal names. The Smith house, that should come down. I have two more big ones. Pets. Let's start with pets, live animals. So I might not say it while we're sitting at the table, but when we walk around the house, I'll see like the kitty bowls, and I'm like, oh, you guys, I know I'll go, I can't smell anything, but you know, when some people will see those cat dishes, they'll make it up. And I've seen buyers be like, this place stinks, I can't believe it. So do you guys think there's somewhere that you guys could keep your kitty for the week? Is that a possibility? Is there somewhere the kitty could stay? And then I need you guys to do me a favor. Hide any sign of any pet that has ever been in this house, any cat toy and whatever that is. Is that a possibility? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I don't think there's anywhere to ask. Nope, it's their due diligence to take care of it. And it's my job to protect the seller and make them the most money. So if I can do that, it's my job. And if someone is concerned if there's animals, they can ask and I will not lie. But it is my job to make sure it feels like there were no animals in that home. So, yep, maybe had that come up. So that's my job. Like at the end of the day, I don't work for the buyer. I'm working for the seller to help them. And we want to get rid of any sign if we can. I mean, I had a friend, she had a big dog too. She has a whole zoo at her house, bless her heart. Tarantulas and cockroaches and birds and cats and the Great Dane. And like, it was intense, but she got rid of most everything. The Great Dane stayed with her, but she would just put it in the Mustang with her and they would go for a drive. That's also why it's so important. We get one shot to go on the market. You know, if you are overpriced or not good condition, your house is still going to get shown and it's going to suck. Showing your house sucks. So my job is to keep you in control during this time. Honestly, like if we do it right, we're going to show like crazy for a couple of days, get multiple offers, and then you can go back to living like normal. But if you decide not to do that, it really is hard. You're still going to get shown. We'll talk about pricing in a minute, but okay. One last one. We talked about live animals. We not talked about not live animals. Taxidermy. Yeah. Again, I didn't have the guts to say it, and I learned that is a bad deal. You got to talk about it. Now, if you're a Nephi, you might be able to get away with it, but we just sold one in Ephraim, and the reality is we got more money. There was no question. They're moving anyways. Help them get them down. And you won't know if you got the very most for the house if you don't do everything. So, I mean, and it was Ephraim. That's what you do. Like, that's what everybody does down there. But honestly, and I just say, totally up to you guys, but I really just want you to know that that might offend somebody and someone might walk right back out. So it's totally up to you. Deer and elk and lions or something, I don't know, on their wall. So I just say, totally up to you guys. I'd recommend you take the animals down. They're super cute, love them. But if you want to get the most for your home, my recommendation is that they come down. So I had one that she has and she moved it to her new house. It says something like Drunk Avenue or something that she has on her patio. And I did. I was like, you know what? I probably would maybe take that down. It depends. I do think in Utah you have to be careful too. And I just it depends on how much it really is. So I probably would recommend they take them down. I asked her to take hers down. And she was like, I don't have a screwdriver. I was like, I have one in my car. And it is hard. You just be like, you know what? I mean, you can, and I really say this all the time, you can totally leave it up. It's totally up to you. I know that I would want to know. So it's my job to let you know how you're going to get the most for your house. Okay, so I think we covered like almost all of the depersonalized. Maybe. Okay, and I think we covered these. I'm out of order on it. So we talked about the basketball rule. You guys remember what that was? Anything smaller than a basketball. So keep big, chunky items out. And then when you say that, they'll start to visualize. We usually will stage with almost everything that's in someone's house. We'll just start to walk through and pull the good stuff and like tell them to get rid of the other thing. The rule of 3. You guys remember that? 3 items in each room. And of course, I did this once and they came to one of my classes and I went to her house and they literally only had 3 things in each room. I like had to go to her garage and start bringing stuff back in because it looked so bare, but it does help them start to get a feel. Yeah. She was very literal. There was nothing else. Oh wait, there was one last one on there. The Golden Mile rule. You guys ever heard about the Golden Mile? Okay, so this is from where the buyer gets out of their car till they reach the kitchen table. That's as long as by the time they get to the kitchen table, they will know whether they're going to make an offer on your house or not. So if you're going to put any energy into it, make sure that is great. So people will be like, so should I clean the storage room downstairs? As long as your Golden Mile is perfect, you can totally do that. But if this is not done, don't you dare go work on your storage room. I don't care, or the garage or anything else. from where they get out of their car, including the gutter, all the way to the kitchen table. That's going to be the money space. And when you guys are out showing houses, you're going to get to the basement and they're going to start talking about whether they should write an offer or not. Bring them back up to the kitchen table. It happens all the time. They're in a dingy, cold, unfinished basement because they got done with their tour and they said, actually, we really like it. Help guide them back up to that kitchen table, back up to the kitchen. They'll feel good. It'll be way better for you there. So, and let's go through. I have a couple. Oh, okay, staged versus unstaged. That's the same house there. Kind of give you guys an idea. And there are more than 3 things there, but it's interesting what happens. I used to think vacant and clean was better, but there's no question. Getting even a little bit of furniture is good. So I have a vacant condo. All we did was add bar stools. In the corner, there's 1 chair and a little side stand table, some greenery, some plants. It doesn't have to be a ton. But if you have a vacant house, things like shower curtains, hand towels, and soap, and toilet paper, because I know they're not supposed to use that bathroom in the vacant house. They're totally going to use the bathroom in your vacant house. And if you don't have toilet paper in there, and it feels warmer, wreaths, mats, and greenery. These are simple things that you can do to a vacant house to just help it feel warmer. Even if you just bring in a few plants. You don't have to keep a ton. Ah! Okay. I am trying to keep us on track. But the things like shower curtains, so I do have, I have a stock of shower curtains now that I've just collected over the years. So now I've got 4 or 5 shower curtains. But bringing a wreath in, the hand soap and towels, it really will just help it feel a lot warmer, and it doesn't cost very much. And you'll probably use it over and over and over again. So invest a little bit, it will go a long way. But the wreath and the mat on your vacant house too, same thing. And are big deals for when people are walking up to the front door, even if it's not vacant. Okay, I'm going to turn the lights down just a little bit, and we're going to play a game. You guys get to see. Okay, these are both MLS pictures. Same house. A good photographer is worth it. These guys are paying you a lot of money to sell their house. Don't use your cell phone. Be a professional. Be someone they can trust. Do the fiduciary duty and hire a good photographer. So honestly, for $150, you can get good photos. But other things that we learned, I mean, what can you see we did in this picture versus the other picture? We just kept some basic things, all things that she already had. Cleared these shelves off completely. Cleared the mantle off completely. Opened up the curtains, opened up the blinds, and a good photographer. But it does just get rid of the crap. Take it off of the wall. Same thing, these guys probably thought they were staging. Oh my gosh, so cute. Let it be clear. Get rid of the stuff that's up in here. There's one really basic thing there. Clear the fridge. To me, that makes me so nutty. Totally free. These are all things that don't cost any money. But if you look right now at active listings on the MLS that have been on for more than 14 days, I bet you could go in and fix a lot of things for free. If you went in and was clear this, do this, put an air freshener in, open your sinking windows, get rid of your black curtains. Same thing there. That really was just setting and a better photographer. Sadly, it was when we bought it, or when my client bought it, because we helped them buy it and then we helped them sell it. So, yeah. And she did update her flooring in there, but it's totally the difference. And I don't even think those are cell phone pictures. I actually think that was an agent who believed they could be a photographer. So, but we did end up with multiple offers on hers. And okay, this one kills me. So there's something over here. Tell me all the things, but hopefully you catch the one that makes me so crazy. Yes! Close the toilet! Oh my gosh, but you have to actually ask your clients to do that and tell the sellers that. Be like, if you don't make it a thing, a lot of people don't close their toilets. But honestly, just close the toilet. I grew up in a family that didn't close the toilet, and my husband is a toilet closer. Yeah. I know. I grew up in a family that didn't close their toilet. I'm going to need a refill. Okay. So, simple things. So, just honestly, just clear your countertops off. Things like that same thing. Toothbrushes. Tell them, put your toothbrushes away. Get rid of the mats. Dark mats and dark towels are going to be hard. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, look at that cute red towel, that cute turquoise towel. It's the only thing you'll see in the photo. So get rid of like super crazy things. And when you go, yes, I'll catch you in a second. When you go in a room, you want to look at it from left to right. That's what a buyer will. And you want to make sure there's nothing that stops your eye from start to finish. You want them to go left to right and back out. If there's anything that stops them, they'll stop and consider good or bad. And you don't want them to. You want to feel good and keep going. Absolutely. Closets, even if you had to pick like a bedroom, one, and put everything in one space, I would. It's still better than letting it be in the whole house. Pack it up. Show, and again, get your golden mile as good as you can. So it better be the very last bedroom that they see, the furthest out, because by then they've already decided if they're making an offer or not. But just get it out of there. Same on the laundry, stuff that you just don't think about. Like just clear it completely out. And because the way we sell a house is not the way we live in a house. So I just keep saying that to them so they don't feel bad. I'm like, you know, it's just not fair because you guys are not at my house and there are dishes in my sink. There's wet clothes in my washer. There are clothes on the floor. So don't worry. The way we sell a house is not the way we live in it. Don't feel bad at all. We just kind of keep working through that as we go. And so what's going to be, I'm trying to talk. Okay, this is a marketing plan. Those are some fun ones just to go side by side, help hopefully lighten our mood for a minute. Okay, so seller, it's going to be real important. We only get one chance to go on the market, right? And one of the most important things we do is price it right. You know, I'm sure you don't want to leave any money on the table, right? Come on, play with me. Right. Yes, of course not. I totally get it. You're just like everybody else. But you know what is interesting is if we decide today to just go down this path with me, seller. Let's say today we decide to list your house at $250. Well, let's just start here. How much do you think your house is worth? $275. Great. Let's say we list your house at $250 today. Don't worry, that's not the number I think we should, but let's just happen to say we do. You think there are more people looking at $250 or at $300 right now? Perfect. You know what? The search engines are going to have more people looking at $250 than $300 because they'll search clear up to $300 and you'll fall in there. And what I know about this market is somebody's going to know your house is worth $250. You and I both know that, right? But somebody else is going to know it's worth $255 or $260 or $270. And we have a better shot getting the most money for your house to price it appropriately. Because my job is to make sure we can get the most offers in the shortest amount of time possible and actually net you the most money. But you know what? I'm sure you don't want to leave any money on the table, right? Let's just happen to say we decide to price it at $300 instead. We price it at $300 just to see if there's a California buyer that might buy it, right? You hear that all the time. So we price it at $300 and we have to take a price drop to $290 and maybe even a price drop to $280. And we get one offer. And that one offer wants you to pay $5,000 in closing costs and fix the roof. All of a sudden, you're stuck with that one offer, and you're going to have to do whatever they ask you to do. And at the end of the day, it's my job to keep you in control during this process. So let's just happen to say we price it. So what we found on our team is if we can price it right at market value or just a hair below, we just have to make sure you look better than everything else in price and condition. Okay, so if we can price you just right and we get multiple offers, Let's say you get one at $275 and one at $280, but the $280 wants you to pay $5,000 in closing costs. Which one's a better offer? $275, because seller, you know, you'll actually net the same, but I'm a little concerned that we might have an appraisal issue. We don't have enough comparable properties, and let's say it only appraises for $270. Not only are you going to have to drop the price to $270, but you've already agreed to pay $5,000 in closing costs. So it's almost like a double hit. The only way we're going to be able to do that is if we price it right. Now, I'm not going to be the one to determine what your price is. I'm going to let you guys decide what that is, but let's take a look. And I will actually pull up current properties. Because you know what? What's interesting is an appraiser, he's a historian. He's working on past data. Those are homes that have already sold. But the problem is the buyers that are looking through your house, they're never going to look at those houses. So what we actually have to do to price your home right is we have to look at the same houses. Your buyers that walk through your house, we got to see what else they're walking through. Because just like you, they're going to walk through one house plus 4 or 5 others, and the one that has the best price or condition. And I literally will pull them up. So did you guys know that in Provo Springville Forum last week, that there was only 7 houses listed under $300,000? 7. All the crap holes and everything. Like there is nothing. 7. Like it's crazy. 7. So you're right. My problem is my appraised value might be $250, but market value actually might be $290. Because people are willing to pay $290 because it's the best thing on the market in that price. That's why it's going to be important that I help manage you through that so that we can do both. Now, if we get multiple offers and we're above appraised value, there's a good chance I'm going to be able to work with that to get the appraiser to help us. And at the end of the day, if you had to take a price drop and a house has been on the market 14 days, have you guys seen some of those houses that have been on for 14 days or 21 days or 56 days? What do you think about them when you see them? Even what's wrong with it? I don't want anyone to think that. I literally need somebody to walk in here and say, honey, get me this house. Do whatever it takes. That's how I know I'll get the best offer. The one we did last week, literally we went down the same thing. We should just pull up the MLS. I just pull up whatever's active and we scroll right through it and we go, we're better than them, we're better than them, we're better than them. Oh, wait, they're better than us. Yep, that's our price. And the sellers help me take that price. Like we do it totally together. It's just like, oh, yeah, $320, that's our price. And at $320, we end up with 8 offers in 24 hours with no closing costs, substantially above list price, free lease back for an entire month post-close, non-refundable earnest money as soon as the inspections are done. So, okay, super fun. Okay, page 16. So 16 is like, it goes through your marketing plans of things that you guys can do. My recommendation, only put things on there that you're going to do. If you're not going to hold an open house, do not put it on the list of things you're going to tell your seller you're going to do. They will hold you accountable for everything you have on this list. So if you really aren't going to do it, don't put it on there. It's totally fine. Only put what you really are committed to doing and then do it well. We personally do hold open. So as we walk through the house and we get their buy-in as to what that looks like, then I just say, you know what, in a perfect world, I love to do photos on Thursday or Friday. I get edits back by Monday. And then I like to go live on the market on Monday. We'll start all of that online marketing that we talked about. I'll present your home live in team meeting on Tuesday. And then we like to hold an open house on Tuesday or Wednesday evening. And we expect that we'll end up with multiple offers. If we don't, we can hold an open house again on Saturday, but we are very highly attended at night. So right now we're doing Tuesday nights. Like I have one tomorrow night, Tuesday night from 6:30 to 8, and I expect that we'll probably have 30 to 40 people there. So I love evenings. So I used to do 4 to 6 because I wanted to be home with my family for dinner, but it wasn't super effective. 4 to 5 was slow, 5 to 6 was slammed. People would come right at 6. I'd get stuck till 7. 6:30 to 8 right now. But during the winter, that's a better time, 4 to 6. Thinking hot right now. But we really do like to do the evening ones. And I used to hold and only do showings the day of the open house. But because of COVID, we have opened up showings completely, and we'll do them. So we had 15 or 20 groups through our one in Provo the other day, but we had showed every 30 minutes for 2 days before that open house. So that's why I'm like, it's crazy. We got to go get listings. You got to tell me so there was one house in Orem under 300,000. You got to tell me there's more than one seller in Orem that has a house under 300,000 that wants to sell. I mean, 1 in 5 wants to sell. Why don't we have more listings? And if you list it and it's priced right and in good condition, you will sell it. It's like instant money. It's so good. And I work in a lower price point. Like I will sell $300 to $350 all day long. It's my favorite. I'll sell the 500, but I love $300 to $350. They're my favorite. Like a tri-level, 4-bed, 3-bath, 2-car garage on a 1/4 acre. Right? They're perfect. They sell so fast and they're so good. And it's really fun because you're also then usually getting a move-up buyer who has great equity in their home because they bought it for $130,000. So they can take that $100,000, go put it into another house, get a good loan. Like you're helping leverage them up into a new place. How freaking cool is that? Okay. So these are all the things you can do. You can put for sale sign, blah, blah, blah. You don't even need to read through that. You guys have it. Okay. I also will send you guys an email that has the open house script so we don't have to take time in class. What's your success for open house scripts? Tell me what works for you. I need to go get water. It's just ice. Yeah. I like that. In motivation? Oh, that's right. Because it's information. Information always equals motivation. I forgot, we talked about that. Information equals motivation. So like you guys go to Dillard's, right? And you're walking through Dillard's and people are like, can I help you? Can I help you? And you're like, I'm just looking. I'm just looking. I'm just looking. And you're not being rude. It's not that you don't like them. You're just looking. But the minute that you need a pair of black socks, like you go right up to the salesperson, you're like, where are the black socks? It's the same with house shopping. It's the same. And if they are, just look like, at the end of the day, for me, we have 2 rules on our team. 1, we don't work with jerks. Like, I just don't have the energy and time. And 2, we only work with people who want to work with us. And if they don't want to work with me, it doesn't matter how nice I am or how good I am or what scripts I manipulate them with. It won't matter. If they want to work with you, they will. So I like that. Good. And just real quick open house stuff. At the end of the day, like, just be really open. Ask them if they're working with an agent. Ask if you can interview for the job. This is a really important decision. If you're not working with anyone, I'd love the chance to interview for the job. See why people choose to work with us. And if they are represented, I always still try to come with value and say, great, so are you already working with a lender then? You are? Well, my recommendation is I really would talk to First Colony. Their rates are fantastic. So just get a second quote and make your guy match it, if nothing else. Can I send you their information? I'm not trying to convert them as a client, but if I can get my lender a lead from it, how great is that? And First Colony is way better rate. Okay, so communication. We are doing pretty good on time, you guys. So happy. On Fridays, this is the deal. No matter what, come hell or high water, talk to every single one of your clients on Fridays. Every time. You're going to get really busy and you're going to forget on a Friday, and then they are going to be pissed. Even if you haven't set the expectation that you're going to call them on Friday, something happens over the weekend to everybody. And it happens when I don't talk to them. I know Monday morning and I feel it. I am digging myself out. So me calling and be like, hey, heads up, everything looks great. There's nothing we need to worry about. They're working on the loan behind the scenes. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Seriously, takes me 30 seconds. On Monday, if they call me, I am at least 20 minutes trying to explain that everything is fine. They're working on the loan behind the scenes. I promise we're good. Just pick up the phone, go right down your list, call every person you can on Fridays right before the weekend. And that's really all that is. They just need it. I wish someone, someone probably told me. I just didn't get really good at it for a little bit. Okay, so we talked a little bit already about staging, prepping a listing, getting it to sell, pricing. But now let's say you actually get offers. I didn't understand how to analyze an offer. I was protecting my seller. So this is super important because those 8 offers that we talk about, what if one is for $300,000? That sounds fantastic. You think your house is only worth $275,000? Hell, let's take the one that's for $300,000. That sounds fantastic. Except they want 28 days of due diligence. They want a 6-week close. And although they have $5,000 in earnest money, it's not going to go really hard until their finance and appraisal deadline 5 weeks from today. And they didn't send you a pre-approval with their offer. How sexy does that offer look now? I didn't know that. That one that I went home and it was a hard day. I accepted their offer. I didn't realize they had 3 weeks of due diligence. I didn't understand. Just because someone writes 3 weeks of due diligence doesn't mean you have to accept it. And if I only have one offer, because we priced it a little bit high and we had to come down, and we're just so glad they wrote an offer for us and we're just so happy, there is way less room to negotiate that. If I have multiple offers, I will define the terms that work for my seller and we will engage and move forward. So that is huge, and my job is to feel control during this, especially if I'm doing a buy, a sell, and a buy. So I have to transition you into a new home. So seller, you can price the house at whatever you want. But it's really important that we get as many offers as possible because I got to get you a lease back. And you know what I know is sometimes time is worth more than money. And if you guys have to get a storage unit and move twice, that's going to cost a whole lot more than if we can actually negotiate that lease back for you. So what do you think we should price it at? And I just let them tell me. And then a lot of them will be like, you tell me. And I'm like, well, this is what I think today. But the problem is the market changes every day. There's going to be new buyers and new sellers that come on. So right when we get our pictures right before we list, let's look again and just make sure that there isn't any other houses that we should be considering as far as comparables or things. Now, the other thing is if you guys are looking in a 1 mile radius, you may not find comparables. Buyers are not going to do that. Appraisers might. But if I was representing a buyer, they might look Provo, Orem, Springville. They might look American Fork, Lehigh, Pleasant Grove. So you got to actually broaden the search when you look at active properties, because you might be the best thing on your block, but down the street or down in the city over, it's $30,000 less. That matters. They're going to walk through your property and their property. So you have to broaden this, especially because there's no inventory. You got to broaden it out a little bit and realize what that looks like. So. I typically actually adjust up most of the time versus down. I am pretty aggressive in my pricing when I first sit down with them. And I just say, you know what, you guys, I know you don't really like the numbers that I'm talking about, but what's important to me is you're making life-changing decisions based on these numbers, and I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to look at worst-case scenario, and if it works here, then it's going to work way better than whatever else we get. But I'm not going to lie to you just to get your listing. It's important to me that we are very real with our numbers. So I'd say almost always it goes up versus down. And so when I do their net sheet, and we'll go over that, when I do a net sheet, I am like, this is the number that I know I will get you multiple offers at. And some of that does come with time. Like I just know right here, like I know this is where we're supposed to be. And because I look at the market every single day. No, I'm so glad you're participating. It's so fun. I did not sign my listing agreement on Saturday. So it depends too. It depends. So I do think it's important you can set some correct expectations, because at the end of the day, you're going to choose the price. Totally up to you. But what I know in this market is we're going to know in the first 24 to 48 hours if we're priced right or not. And I just want you to know we can't wait 14 days. Let's test it. Every once in a while, we'll test it and go, holy crap, we have 3 offers. I guess we're okay. Yeah, so I want you to know that if we go out, let's test it. Let's see how it goes. But we don't want to go a real long time. Let's give it 7 days. And just, I want you to know that I'm going to be really open with you and give you the feedback of what the market is. But let's try. Let's let the market tell us. And we let the market tell us. I actually just had to experience this on a personal property. Oh, that was a different one. But yeah, they haven't signed the listing agreement. We'll see. There was a couple of things that probably screwed up on it. I'm a good real estate agent. That's why I like, and those, like, sometimes shit happens and you feel yucky when you get done. And we are recording. I'm so sorry. Let's be real. Sometimes that happens and you just got to learn from it, though. And there's some things I would have done different on it. It was somebody I didn't know, and it was a higher price point, and I probably shouldn't have changed my plans to go to the appointment because I didn't have the data. I needed to speak about it intelligently. I shouldn't have at all talked about price. It's okay. We'll work on it. We were just talking about, my personal property. Okay, so we had a condo we were selling, my husband and I, one of our investment properties. And the comps actually showed 218. The last 3 condos in the complex, similar to these, but they're newer, down in Running Horse. Last 3 sold at 218. You would think, right? We should be able to go out at 218. We went, and I told him, I thought, he doesn't always agree with me on pricing, a little aggressive. So I was like, you pick the price. I don't care. You want to go 218? We'll go 218. So we do. And we get nothing. And we didn't get nothing. And we get nothing. And honestly, we took price drops every 7 days. We didn't get any decent activity and no offers until we went down to 199. I think if it's the market changes every day. None of my buyers were walking through past units. They were walking through current units, and there was more units that came on that were older, but more like around 185. These ones came on at 205, and we're right by UVU, and they had not announced that they were going back in session, like to do in person. I didn't have that. I didn't comprehend until I was talking to my nieces, and they weren't signing leases. And so I was like, oh. So I think we just had a weird pocket. I think if we waited, but we're exchanging into some other properties. So it's like, sell the sucker. We did drop it to 199 though finally and get multiple offers, and we're up over to like 205 now. That's what's interesting, is sometimes we will drop, if that happens, and we'll drop and we'll drop. And don't be so scared, because we drop and get multiple offers and go back up to our original list price. It's interesting though, because you don't get the same activity. You don't get the same demand. You don't draw the same buyers. So we had one out in West Jordan we did just recently. We went out at 349, and the finish work in it, he did himself. Maybe it wasn't super great. We ended up driving the price up to 370, no concessions, non-refundable earnest money, like no closing costs, really good. If we had come out at 370, there's no way we would have gotten that same activity. I mean, we ended up with, I think, 21 offers. Stupid to try to analyze. Okay, so things to know about. Your earnest money. Earnest money matters, but what matters is when does that earnest money go hard? So have an understanding around your other dates and deadlines. So I try to gather all my seller disclosures to have before we go on the market, so the minute we go under, we can send them out. That's also the reason why I can expect that your due diligence is shorter. If I don't give them to you for 5 days, how can I expect you to have due diligence in 7? But hell, if I get it to you right now, I can say, yeah, we need 7 days or less. So that's for us. I've learned that you'll be 7 to 10, but most of the time 7 days. There's of due diligence. There's nothing you can't really figure out in 7 days. And as a buyer's agent, why would you give your clients more time than that? You give them 21 days to consider all the other houses that are popping up on the market. Like, either they want the house or they don't. It will help your life be better too, to have decent timelines to say I'm in or I'm out. And it's the respectful thing to the seller. Why tie their house up if you're just going to think about it for 14 days? Like 7 days, you can go to church, you can check the schools, you can get your home inspection. And if your home inspector can't get out in 5 days, call me, because I have a guy that'll get out in 24 hours, and you'll be right in. Financing and appraisal, anywhere from 14 to 28 days. The problem is that during this time, they can cancel just because they had a funny feeling about it, no matter what. They don't like the neighbor next door. They went home and prayed about it. Whatever happened, they can just cancel. So 7 to 10 days max. But the problem is that this finance and appraisal deadline sounds like it has to be on financing, but they could go home and just be like, I don't like our payment. They could wait until the 28th day, cancel, and get all of their earnest money. As a buyer, that's fantastic. I represent the seller. So ask me, like, help me understand, buyer's agent, why your buyer's not willing to let their earnest money go non-refundable after the inspection. You're asking me to bet on their loan more than they're willing to bet on themselves. So you look like you had a question. Yes, or statement. So one of the things that I do, they would. So I do call the lenders directly and I ask the question, would you feel comfortable with their earnest money going non-refundable after the due diligence and after inspection? You know why I love that question? Because they don't expect it, and you can hear in their voice whether they did their work they were supposed to do up front or not. If they haven't looked at their documents, they're like, well, why the hell should I pull the house off of the market for you then? You haven't done your part. You are not ready to buy this house. So for me, that's important, and I want to be clear with the lender that that's what's happening. And if they don't feel good, I say, no problem. So I need you to make sure you've seen their W-2s, you've seen their taxes, you've sent them through the automated underwriting. And if you don't want to do it, it's totally fine. My lender will take care of it for you. And they'll usually do it for me. So realize we're protecting these sellers. If I have to go back out on the market, it feels so good that we had 8 offers the first time. You're probably not going to get 8 the second. You lost all your momentum, so you have to really vet the people who are doing that. And people wonder why if they're in multiple offers, why they're not getting it. Have that understanding. I think our team does well with multiple offers because of the opposite side. So we don't write offers until Sheila can say, yes, I've seen the taxes. They've been through automated underwriting. We can close. We just lost one. And she said she could close in 21 days even. We're FHA, though. Those are tricky. Those FHAs. Okay. So just be aware. And sometimes I might not ask for all of their earnest money. Let's say it's $2,000. I might just ask for $500 at the due diligence deadline. Need something. Put a little skin in the game. And as a buyer, if I'm in multiple offers, we always offer non-refundable after due diligence. There are times, yes. I'm recording this, so we'll talk afterwards. I don't really need to record all of our secrets. Come talk. We'll talk another day. We don't need to talk long term. Okay. But your financing is a huge part of it as a buyer, and same for the sellers. I really want to vet them out. Sometimes if I get a lender that is kind of like that shady feeling of like, you are lying to me right now, we will counter back. Buyer to get pre-approved through Sheila at First Colony by tomorrow at 3 p.m. and may obtain financing through the lender of their choice. So if I don't, it just really vets them out. And most of the time, First Colony's fees are less. And a lot of times they'll go with our lender. And if we're doing transitioning to a new house, it matters because if this loan doesn't go, she can't do hers. So most of those lenders are going to be willing to do a pre-approval to get a shot to see if they can earn their business. But that also just really helps wrap your arms around and protect that seller as far as one extra step. It depends. If I talk to somebody and I can tell they're competent and they're willing to let the earnest money go, I can tell they've done their work, those things, that matters. So, and I typically will ask the lender, same thing, what date do you feel comfortable with the finance and appraisal deadline? And what date do you feel comfortable with settlement? Because then I can hold them accountable to it. I didn't come up with the date or the deadline, the lender did. If I just pick up an arbitrary number and I'm like, you get 14 days. I can't go to them and be like, you're not done yet? Why aren't you done? But if they told me that was the date, And then they want an extension. It's a whole different conversation. All things we learn from making mistakes. So, okay. So typically that settlement deadline, 30 to 40 days. And we do a lot of leasebacks because we transition a lot of people. So what I wish I would have known, and I might need help logging this. I'll see if I can remember uh-oh. Okay, so I personally had no idea what a net sheet was. So the first listing I got, and then we overpriced it. We had to drop the price and drop the price, and there was tenants, we had to drop the price, and the condition was bad. We finally got our first offer. And I didn't know how to present it to the seller. Like, I have no idea how much money you're gonna get from it. If I would have had this tool, I use this so much now. Every day I work with the, let's see if it'll let me in. My fingers are crossed. I know I'm gonna need a password. I might have to. Oh, I wonder if it's got his already in there. No. If I would have realized what this was, oh my gosh, it would have just made my life so much better. So I think my username is Fischer. And does anyone else have one of these? I think that's what, oh, this is a tax code, a company code. Keller? What? Maybe? I should check on my computer real quick. Has anybody, who works with Inwest right now? Has anyone met with Inwest? Sid, could I bug you to fill this with even the fountain water? It's just, my ice is like super chunky. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, wherever's fine. Okay, so I was gonna log in Keller West. Okay, that is right. So they can get you a login here, and there's an app. I'm just not very good with apps. I tried it. Ah, it worked. No, we don't want to save my password to your guys' stuff. Not a huge deal. Okay, let's see if I can make this big. How do you do that? No, I don't need that. Is there any way to make this any bigger? No. This over here? Ah, fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so super easy. I use this when I told you I sit down with people and I go through it. Even at I'll usually do it on my listing appointment. To just say, okay, let's just happen to say we plan to sell at $230. And the agent commission is to both sides, so it's at 6%. And how much do you owe on your mortgage? You owe $175. Now, one thing I want to share about this is whatever they owe on their mortgage, like online when they look at what that is and it says $175,000, there is also going to be last month's interest added onto that. So it's called interest in arrears. Okay. So I like to, if they said that they owe $175, I probably would round up to $176. Basically, it's 75% of whatever their payment is. Whatever their interest is going to get charged. And if you don't plan for it at the closing table, they're going to wonder why you're off $500 or $1,000. And I just explained that to them because they still won't understand. They'll be like, but my statement says, and we're at the closing table. And again, learn from making a mistake. Having that conversation up front. So I'm like, okay, so do you owe closer to 174 or 176? So we just round up. Let's just say 176 to give us a better idea. They don't have a second mortgage. They don't have any other loan payoffs. Keller Williams doesn't make us charge a transaction fee, so we don't, but some of the teams will charge anywhere from $200 to $1,000 to manage the transaction. If you're not charging that, that's a selling point, so I recommend you highlight that. So that might be another reason they might work with a newer person versus another person. Now, a home warranty. I would plan on paying for a home warranty. What that's going to do is it's going to cover all the major operating systems, things like the furnace, the AC, the water heater, all of the appliances, and it's going to make it easier if you have an older furnace or whatever when we go to negotiation, and it's the right thing to do. So I put it in here as well. So Elevate does for $450, you can get a good home warranty, and they're fabulous to work with. Okay, now when we talk about seller paid closing costs, when we went through that, I'll still have those comps up there. We'll be able to see how much closing costs are getting paid. The thing is that is very price specific and neighborhood specific. So you'll be able to see if no closing costs are getting paid, or if the last 5 transactions that maybe, oh, I didn't tell you guys this part. So we looked at actives, right? I will just flip over to under contract and look at them real quick to verify with them, and we'll do the same thing. Better. Nope, that's our price. And then we flip over to solds in the last 30 days and kind of do that same thing. The reason we got to go over to solds is because we got to see if there's closing costs in there. That's the only place you're going to see it. Not on under contracts, just on, oh, sorry, just on the sold property. So we'll be able to see, and depends on the price point. That really does matter. So I would say that you are seeing it over 450,000. You are seeing some closing costs in it. Under 400,000, very little. Sometimes you might see $2,500. So just depending on what that is, I put it in there again, like worst case scenario. Okay, guys, I just want you to be, if we got to make sure the numbers work so you get enough money to get into the next house. Our worst case is $5,000, but our goal is it. We aren't going to negotiate any of those, but I want to give you like worst case scenario. See if I can move this somewhere else. Okay, and your property taxes for the year, they're going to pay. So you've been paying into an escrow account for your property taxes. But when you go to sell your house, they are going to require you to pay it up front out of the proceeds, and then you're going to get the money back from the escrow account. So you put in whatever the taxes are for the year. So like, let's say these guys' taxes are $1,200. What that's going to do, it's going to calculate how much you're actually responsible for. But I just want to make sure it's as accurate as possible. This net sheet is so accurate. I actually take it according to the closing disclosure, and I check them off, and they're close. It accounts for the wire transfer fee, the courier fee, the recording fees, the doc prep fees, all that good stuff. Let's say we get an offer and we plan to close on July 31st, and I hit calculate. This is where the magic comes in, because really, they don't care about all that stuff I just stuck in there. They just want to know how much money are they going to get. That's all that they really matter. And they're like, oh, I don't know, Angie, we need $35,000 to get 20% down on the next house. I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, this is how like simple and makes it non-emotional. Well, let's do this. So what you're telling me is, let's say we only had to pay $2,500 in closing costs. Let's see what that does. Let's see if it makes a difference for us, guys. We're so close. Now, if you guys want to go out at $235 instead of $230, we can. But I just want you to know, you guys are always in control. Even if we went out at $220, you don't have to accept any offers you don't want. You're totally in control. So if we go out at $220 and we don't get any offers, or we offer at $220, you don't have to take it, okay? So just realize that. I think we probably should go out at $230. It's going to be close, but what we know is we don't have enough money to pay closing costs. We got to be careful. So, I mean, it just makes it super simple and easy. And then when I get offers in, I can in 5 minutes calculate it and shoot out different net sheets so fast and easy. Or when we go and we're actually negotiating with that offer, they're like, well, they wanted $5,000. That didn't work. $2,500 isn't quite there. What if we change it then? Let's go to $2,400. And then we already have our counteroffer prepped and ready. That's all it took. It was so fast and so simple and so close, not quite. Yeah, got it. We'll try again. It looks like we're at $2,300, huh? Yeah. They're calculating here. Let me show you if this pulls up. So this shows that, yep. And it shows the homeowner's policy. That's their title policy that they're going to pay. And then the doc prep fee, their closing fee, their reconveyance fee. Now, if there's things like 2 mortgages, it might be a little bit more. If there's some HOA stuff that they have to request documents and do something, there might be a little bit more. But if it's just a normal, clean transaction, like this is super accurate, and it'll just help them, like, and I just download it and I keep it in their, it's not called a loop anymore. I just keep it in their file, because this is what we talked about when we were there. So I can be like, okay, guys, when we met that night, this is what we were thinking. They may or may not remember. I just email them out to them, but I keep them there as well so that we can compare. Because when you get 8 offers, all of a sudden you're like, our house is worth more, even though maybe it's not. And it helps them remember, oh, we actually are netting $5,000 more than we planned, or $10,000 more than we planned. This is a good offer, or whatever that looks like. But if I would have had an easy way to present to my seller, I didn't. I was like, I don't know, the offer is $285. I don't know how much you're gonna get, and this would have, it just would have solved all of my problems. So I use it a ton. You can use whoever you want, but half of the reason I work with InWest is because of their net sheet is so easy. They're so good to work with. Super simple, they're here. And I can't use this. Yes. Yes, they have to get you a login. So if you guys want, though, you will, someone has a piece of paper somewhere, I'm sure. Let's get everybody's name, email, and phone number. I need to send out the links for the open house scripts and stuff too, since we didn't cover them here. There's a couple different links in there. But if you guys want them to reach out to you, the other cool thing that they did with me when I started that I loved was to do a mock closing. Like, I didn't know what the forms looked like. I didn't know where I was supposed to sit. I didn't know what it was going to look like. And I was just nervous. You're just nervous the first time you go into a place. So they'll walk you through what it all looks like and what to expect. That was really cool. So, oh, the open house one for sure. If they want to log into this, they'll need it. Well, or Ryan. I usually, yeah. So if you guys want, I'm happy to have them reach out to you. You don't have to, but if it's easy for them to, and you want to, get me your contact information. My contact information's at the end, so if you just want to text me, that's cool. Name, email, and phone number. That sounds great. Okay. And I love, like, I have not been able, and they have this on an app. Like I said, I just like my computer most of the time. I'm kind of not tech savvy. Okay. So let's close out of this. Any questions on this stuff? Super easy. Love it. It makes it slick. A lot of times depends on how far we are in the process, how well we might know each other. I shouldn't have pulled it out Saturday, and I did. And I probably hadn't developed enough of a relationship too. So a lot of, always, 100%. And, oh, I should grab that book. Oh, we might have to take it. I just have a notebook, and you'll just see that I have this, I'm ritual about it. Like, I do the same ritual every time. And I just write the price, the earnest money, the due diligence, who their lender is, like all my dates and deadlines, all the information. But I have a hard time analyzing if I don't write each one. So then I'll have all my pages of them. And I write the nets. I calculate them all, but I just write the nets. I've learned, I used to transfer them onto those sheets, and it was way more work. But then I can put each one in as I get offers in, and it's easier for me. And I just write it. It is like, let me see if I can show you the picture of it, because I send the picture to my clients. Like, I'm analyzing the offers right now. Like I promised, we're working on stuff. I have 33 text messages. Lovely. Lovely. It's because I just listed a house at 230, so we're going to have, so I have a super cute little 2-bedroom, 1 bath, so they just like literally look like that. And I just put them in my notebook. And then I call the lens and stuff. It's not like anything fancy. I just really have just learned I have to see them side by side. But then we take the best out of all of them. Now, let's say you get multiple offers. We only have a couple more minutes. Let's say you do get multiple offers. There's different ways you can handle that. Did you guys, well, not everyone was at the listing class. So, seller, if we get multiple offers, you get to decide what you want to do. We can, one, call for highest and best. That gives everyone a chance to enter a higher offer if they want, but I will tell you sometimes people feel manipulated and they don't love it. And it sometimes makes it harder to have it just starts the transaction out in a like rough way. We can totally do it, but I'll tell you that everyone I've talked to, I've already told them that we have multiple offers, but it's totally up to you. You guys decide. The second thing we could do is we could do what's called a multiple offer counteroffer. We could take what we love out of each offer and counter each person that has offered to see who wants to participate in the terms that we have. They may or may not, and whoever says yes, then we pick from those. You can, but you have to use the right forms. It's called a multiple offer counteroffer. Yeah, because you can only sell a house once. You sell it more than once, they get mad. So you can do that. I've had some success with that, seller, but the challenge I have is it still sometimes feels icky. So the third thing that you can do is if we find one offer that has the most sound financing, we can go to them and present what we need to have them have as our offer. We can take all the components of all the different offers that we like and present it to them. The thing that I find is successful with that is then they feel like they were chosen, they feel special, it starts the transaction out positive. They also feel like, I don't want to screw up, I don't want to negotiate extra on my repairs, there's all these people behind me, and I feel good. So typically that is what I recommend, especially if there's one that is super financially sound. And the agent's nice to work with. It's all a point system, literally. If you have a buyer that is 0% down, I suggest you do all the other things you possibly can to get your offer accepted. One of those things is be nice. So we offered on somebody in our office here, we offered on one of their townhouses, and the other offer was higher. I mean, probably like $5,000 or $6,000 higher. And the agent called me and was like, oh my gosh, this guy is such a jerk. I can't imagine spending the next 30 days with him. And we got our offer accepted. It depends. It's nice to have a backup offer in place, but a lot of times those backup offers are out looking at other houses and they're not as emotionally committed. I typically will just be like, I'll tell you if anything happens. And I typically will call people before we go out on the market. Again, they feel special, like they're getting a deal or an opportunity before it goes out on the market. So when we fall out of contract, I can hopefully get us right back under contract right away. So, but it depends. I just did a backup offer on our one in Provo, but because Josh was our backup offer. But even as we talked to him, he'd already found another house by the time we were having a little bit of issues with like repairs and stuff. We got it all worked out. We're moving forward. Okay. Ahas, we're getting close, right? Let me see if I get all of my things. How do I get that thing not there? Maybe escape? And then, can I close this one? Oh, this is not what I wanted. How do I get to mine? I was looking for mine, but I can't remember what else is there. Oh, I'm in Zoom. Like this Zoom bar needs to move. Here? No. Maybe I closed it in the process. What do you think? No, I bet that is placed. We're good. I think. Let me just double check. Actually, I know. I have it up here. We went through NetSheet. The other one, the only other thing is it just had my contact information on it for people. One thing is you guys are independent agents. Just realize you have an entire team that is working with you. Besides, just get good partners, get good lenders that you can count on. That is huge. Also thank you. Also get your partners with your title people to start to get your systems and build that relationship with good people that you're working with. And then start to make friends inside the brokerage. So everybody is willing to help. Like there's a lot of people that it's so crazy. So is Becca still on? I'll tell my story about Becca. I was new and in the Day Area, and I was on the phone with somebody, and I had said something incorrect about something on county records. And I got off the phone, and she came over, and she was like, "Here, let me actually show you what you're trying to look for. What I could tell what you were intending, but that's not what you were doing." And she showed me some stuff, and I was like, "Why are you helping me? Like, you're not getting paid. I don't understand." And she was like, "Well, that's what we do here. So if you're not that kind of person, I'm not sure you're going to fit in. Like, you're in the wrong place." I was like, "Oh, you're a little feisty. I like you." But that really is. At the end of the day, there's people. That's why the doors are glass. Knock on the doors. Most of the time, people are going to be willing to help. Maybe not right that second, but they'll always be. There's people who are willing to help. And then the last one is ahas. You're good. I'll write it up on the board. The last one then is ahas. So everybody go around and share ahas, and I'll put my contact information up. It's so free. It's like easy. There's so many things that are free and easy. Just do them, and it looks so much nicer. You don't realize it. You can make my husband for that. Like I would have never known. Okay. What else? Everybody. The Golden Mile. It's interesting. It's very real, and it's funny how often even now when I show homes that we're down in the basement, I'm like, we gotta get upstairs. What are we doing in the basement? What else? It's in section 8.3I in the REPC, so you can read through it. But that one is, so typically if I get 10 offers on a house, I might, if I'm lucky, have one that says they're willing to. It is. They're willing to put some skin in the game. And you're asking me to bet on you. And that's the same thing I tell my buyer is, you're asking the seller to bet on your finances. Why aren't you willing to bet on them yourself? Like, be willing to. That matters. What else? Yeah, it's really visual. Thank Clay for that. Actually, most of that stuff, thank Clay for. I love that. It is so fast and easy. And they'll just set you up with a login. Sounds like Sid needs one too. Okay? I used to print them all, and I used to write the dates and the deadlines on them. I now just write them in my notebook, the net for each one, so I can do them as they come in. Mostly, probably like just my system more than anything. It just depends. And there was, if I'm working with like older folks, I would. They like, and a lot of times with them, I print the full offers. We sit down together. They have all 8, and I just tell them what the highlights are. It just depends on your audience. I would. They like to feel them and see them and touch them. Remind me your first name. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Funny, but huge. And you felt it on Monday, huh? I like it. Did everybody hit ahas? Okay. When you share, it actually helps everybody else. So I appreciate you sharing. sometimes we just forget. And you know what? We'll even have done it and been successful and we'll forget. It's like sometimes even like things like eating good. We're like, oh, I feel good when I eat good. And then you do it for a little bit and then you forget. And you're like, why do I feel like crap? Oh, yeah, I'm not eating right. I'm not doing my affirmations. I'm not journaling. I'm not doing the things that are going to put me. But your mindset will be number one. All the knowledge and everything else. You can come to every class, know everything about the market. But if you are not in the right space to be there, you can't. It's going to be really, really hard. Emily Moore was the one who I got my first year affirmations from. Do you know Ashley Jensen? So they worked together, and Emily was a mega agent. I came to her listing class, and then I called and met with her, and that was the thing that she said is the affirmations number one thing that you can do. And it was, I close two contracts every month. I close 2 contracts every month. I close 2 contracts every month. I sell 24 listings every year, or I close 24 deals a year. I sell $5 million a year in real estate, because those all transfer. 2 closings a month will be $5 million a year, which will get you $100,000. Those things are all consecutive to knowing that. And then the other ones, a lot of them, mine are a little different than they used to be. I'm kind of in a different, I don't know if I want to say space. I do IMs, but they are, I just will share, we're just in a different space. But I will share if you guys are okay. We have a couple minutes. Oh, Steven Johnson's calling me. I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm busy. Okay. They're kind of funny but good. Waking up early and creating a routine will be the one thing that makes my life simpler and easier. I enjoy waking up early and taking control of my life. My priorities are important to me. I'm living my priorities and I'm making a difference in my life. I'm making tough decisions about my business and I'm being mindful. I am mindful of my business financially and culturally. I am getting the fuel my body needs to support my mind and my body. I schedule my priorities and I live my best life. Scripts are easy for me and allow me to connect with people. Today is the day I have the power to make the right choice. Sometimes maybe I don't eat right. I am here to help people on their journey and I will be their best resource. I'm doing the very best activities with my time. My activities reflect my priorities. I am empowering my team to be successful and impactful. I am focused on 3 hours of work per day. I am living an intentional life. I leverage myself through systems, tools, and people. I know my priorities and I choose to act accordingly. I find adventures in my life and I take action. The way I choose to start my day matters. I stay up, I stay positive, and I do great things. I made so many calls today. I just dialed. It's like, it just makes you emotional even. Like, I'm like, you just remember that they're big, important things that we do, and it's so simple. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Are there things that you guys would give me feedback on? That's not the gift. I need something to make next time better. Breathe. Thank you. I appreciate you guys coming today. The teaching is my favorite. So. You are so welcome. I know I don't teach from the book, but I took the book and made it to where it works. But I promise we covered everything for the most part that's in there. So thank you. And if you guys do need something, just reach out. Thank you. I don't intend to overwhelm the caller, but if you're interested in the mortgage 101 class, at 1 o'clock after we have 11:30, 1 o'clock in the house. And it's just so you kind of have a general understanding of that realm. That's tight and so I know when like out there and visual or science, I think that no one can do it at least like and about this go down or this or this or this or this or this go to the class. It'll be worth it. So I just hope that I'm keeping you inspired enough on July 14th, and we'll see if we can just do. I don't know if we always do that or what, but anyway, our first pony is upstairs. Everyone anybody up there is awesome. So there's lots of anybody. You'll end up finding connection to the word moment. And I think that is the thing that I can do it. You know, you're always gonna want to tell people who are out there and really can. But at the same time, first off, you'll be able to know that so that being said, that takes so much and really stop by anytime you got sodas up there, water, and as long as you have the ice, you have the whole fridge and everything. Okay, you guys, we have got Wednesday with Jen Jorgensen and Finding the Fire. Your Wednesday night here to go and Jen is awesome. A little bit more like as far as her stuff, focus and a little bit crazy with models and like so overwhelmed and kind of organized this. So yeah, that's great. So Final Fires on Wednesday, and then we have Sherry Booth. It's kind of like the women lineup. We kind of had them then the first week, and now we're trading out with women. So, and then Sherry Booth and her story is kind of my friend. It's just awesome. I love some people have kind of gone from just I don't know, face their life and like so big and awesome. Sherry was a lot of very logical do. Some moms really push them in school, check out after at a local bookstore, we're showing the model home from the model home. They've had this social workshop here. Never, I mean, basically like they're not necessarily for them. And then and all people broke off for that model home. And then definitely and online so it's just a really good cool story. And it's just what a great is that going to the next going able to where things like off. So that's Friday. She has great stories. She does have great stories. Yeah. So anyway, come Wednesday for Jen and then Friday for Sherry and please let me know if you have any questions. But everyone gets advices. Okay. That has every single session of the night on there, the school kit and the script guide. If you need anything else, let me know. But that should be all the material for a kind of you also find it let me know as well. The hard copy finders. So I know sometimes it's still audio and they find the best thing for you to also like when we're actually in class. You're follow along on the highlights notes. But if you haven't had a chance to look through the binder, like there is a section. It's literally 50 pages of info. Sometimes 70, like it's step by step what so I love the art instructors and Cameron did this too. They make their own, they build their own. And they go back through and just get even more detail about that information. So if you have any questions, so tomorrow we've got training on Thursday at 1 p.m. Our usual it will just have a sure coming from live. I've got it in Thursday because it's a lot of stuff. And then tomorrow at 11 on Zoom. Not going to be that quite yet. I'm going to pull off on that. That's for tomorrow, soon, fun. Tell one. Any questions I can for you? Okay, so how was off Monday? I don't have anything I would walk into up there other than the other than the contact.